South Africa's magistrates are warning that rising threats to their personal safety, including intimidation, physical attacks, and undermining the country's justice system, are undermining the country's justice system. Now, a national study shows nearly a third have faced danger while on duty, prompting urgent calls for stronger security as well as protection in courts. Joining me is the president of the Judicial Officers Association of South Africa. That's Neelan Karikan, as we unpack this a little bit more. Neelan, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. It's absolutely incredible because the serving of what you do is so important to our criminal justice system. And to get any kind of threats, intimidation, etc., must be very dilapidating to doing your work as well. And I suppose the question just becomes, what is the cry, what is the plea from the Judicial Officers Association of South Africa? Just to note to everybody as well that you do have your court gown in studio as well, just as representation of that.
Thank you so much, Arabiela, and thank you for the platform. The issue of security is actually very important. It's almost all aspects that are paramount, but security is the key. Remember, our judicial officers, particularly the lower court judges and magistrates, they are the coalface, and they deal primarily with every type of criminal case that comes into the system. And the nature of the security that we receive is actually non-existent. It's non-existent in the sense that the building is protected, the courtrooms and the passages are protected, but the magistrates themselves that preside over these matters, they don't receive any protection. The types of matters that they deal with, as you can see, syndicates, corruption, high-profile matters, murders, rapes, cash in transit types of matters. And those matters were originally in the High Court. They've permeated now to the regional court, and the bail applications happened in the district court. So the magistrates are vulnerable. They don't receive the protection, as we say. And beyond that, their remuneration is problematic because right now they have not even received the cost of living adjustment. And we're hoping that the Independent Remuneration Commission will do their job and effect that, because they already was overdue as of the 1st of April. That's more than 6 months. Everyone else has received it. The public servants, prosecutors, all of the other people have received benefits and increases, but we have not.
What does security look like, though, for a magistrate, for a court official at this time? Because one wonders, does that mean that it needs to be personal bodyguarding? Is it just bodyguards within the workplace, etc., within their office realm? What exactly does it look like?
You see, judicial officers generally don't receive any protection. For there to be some intervention, something needs to happen. A magistrate needs to be attacked. They must have been threatened or followed, and the like. And then there needs to be some type of investigation to see whether they are entitled to that type of benefit. In the High Court, that is not an issue. If there's a complaint or a suspicion, generally there's protection. But for magistrates, doesn't work, doesn't happen at all. So we have nothing, actually.
But what would it look like if you were to ask for the kind of security that you're looking for the lower courts, especially for magistrates? What does that look like? Is that security within just the courtroom, or is that security within the office, security going home, etc.?
You must appreciate that we receive no security even at our homes. In terms of home protection, home security, there's nothing of the sort. And the type of protection we expect and we require is particularly those high-profile cases. And unfortunately, most of our cases are high-profile. You know, in the Randburg jurisdiction alone, you will see the types of cases that we get. And they're syndicate related. And very recently, I mean, beyond the Western Cape, Western Cape receives currently, in terms of statistics, the most types of intimidation and assaults and threats. For people to now feel free to intimidate and threaten a magistrate, where do they get that power from? They get it because we have systematically or systemically not been receiving any recognition, protection, or any type of benefit. Right now, a magistrate has to travel, has to get to the court, go through the passages, walk amongst criminals, walks amongst people that has to appear in his court. So it's a serious problem.
Has this ever been something that was given, however, to magistrates, particularly in the lower courts? I know you've said that some of the high-profile cases have pretty much moved into the more regional courts as well at present. But was security an aspect that was looked after quite a lot in the lower courts?
It was actually never done. You will notice that Currently, we've been picketing, we've been going all over the country, and we've been escalating almost on an industrial level. And the fact that it has never been done, nothing has been done when it comes to pension, medical aid, security, tools of trade, unfortunately, and remuneration is the key. Because right now we have disgruntled magistrates who are much senior to other equally qualified people, inclusive of prosecution. We have junior prosecutors that are earning more than a magistrate. Can you imagine a senior magistrate sitting on the bench for 20, 30, 40 years, sits on the bench, and a prosecutor that appears there earns much more than the magistrate? Now that anomaly must change. Cannot be, because that affects our dignity and financial independence.
Yeah, so what is said when you bring this complaint forward, particularly around security, from the intimidation, etc.? What is then said to you as the Judicial Officers Association of South Africa? That will it get fixed? Will it be dealt with? Is there some kind of conversation that is being had around it?
Currently, we've been engaging the Chief Justice, the Minister of Justice, the Magistrates Commission, every role player that's relevant, that's supposed to take ownership of the lower court judges. There is talk that they will assist on every aspect. Unfortunately, these words have been happening for the last 17 years because we even were promised a major review. Had those things been done and the necessary role players had done their job, we won't be sitting here, I won't be needing to sit next to you in
So
studio.
there haven't been excuses, it's just it hasn't been done. The review of this process hasn't been done at all.
There's acknowledgement. There's almost acknowledgement of guilt and liability to the lower court judges. But action, we need legislative changes. We need the minister to fast-track legislation so that we can have a single judiciary. We don't need to have a duplication of the High Court and the lower court in terms of the Act, the Courts Act, instead of Superior and Magistrates Court Act. The rules, so far as the uniform rules and the Magistrates Court rules, there needs to be parity. There needs to be an amalgamation. We have the Judicial Service Commission. We have the Magistrates Commission. We all are fit and proper, have the same qualification. We do the same work. So this unnecessary duplicating is perpetuating the systemic economic abuse of magistrates, and that cannot be.
I want to ask if you, and this is possibly the horrible part to all of this, but if you're able to share any of your own experiences with regards to the kind of security breaches, intimidation, etc., that you may have either seen or have been told of that have happened of late.
Absolutely. In fact, I've received information nationally from our lower court judges. And for example, in court, a magistrate gets intimidated even by witnesses. Insofar as one of our magistrates has described that they were intimidated by the stare, and then there was a hand gesture.
Wow.
And what happens now? You, the magistrate, what do you do? You've got court orderlies. They're supposed to be ensuring that there's order in the court, and that's a problem. Our magistrates' offices are broken into. They are assaulted. They're attacked. Things are thrown at them. So that respect and dignity we are not experiencing. There's not effective control in our courts. We have insufficient court orderlies in every court. Did you know that in the family courts in Randburg, domestic violence, harassment, maintenance, those are volatile courts. There's problems between people. But we don't have one court orderly. We have to beg. Some of our courts don't run because we don't have a court orderly or an interpreter. So what is happening? Matters get postponed. Why do you think the stats are showing as it is? It's there because the court system currently is in a crisis. We're actually in a constitutional crisis because if you don't have a role player, we can't do court. And if we can't do court, then people have to come to court and go home. Come to court and go home. You can't blame the magistrate. People don't appreciate that, but that's the reality.
Yeah. Wow. One wonders truly exactly what gets done in a situation like this when clearly there are examples of this continuously happening as well. How do we take this forward? Because one would say that you'll continuously move to have strike action, industrial action, etc., but it seems to just keep on falling on deaf ears. What can be done from here?
People need to be held accountable. Remember, as the Judicial Officers Association of South Africa, we are going to consistently keep on the pressure because we expect our Chief Justice to fast-track the single judiciary, which we have been promised. We expect the Minister of Justice to fast-track legislation so that the Constitution can be changed, so that magistrates can be incorporated into our Constitution, because we're not even there. Only High Court judges are reflected. The Magistrates Commission must stop focusing on misconduct against lower court judges and focus on what they should be doing when it comes to transfers, leave, our acting magistrates. We have too many of them. They don't even, and remember, we don't even fall under the Labor Relations Act. We can't even go to the CCMA.
Wow.
We are so-called public office bearers with zero benefit of being a public office bearer. So if we were public servants, we would have been way gone by now in terms of salary. There would have been some parity, but there isn't. So we have not effectively been incorporated. And the IRC needs to do their job. Our newly appointed chairperson of the IRC, Zinat Karelson, she's also the JP of the Land Claims Court.
Yeah.
We expect her to fast track because she was once a magistrate. She used to be an executive member of JOASA. So she knows the issues. We don't need to explain and keep having discussions.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. So they need to come to the party. They need to do their job. And remember, we've already approached His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, and he's aware. A memorandum was given to Parliament, Constitutional Court, to the union buildings. We've been everywhere. And we'll continue. But why should we be escalating? But if we must, we're going to do that.
Yeah. Does this mean that you also see less magistrates now trying to come to the bench?
Absolutely, Rabile. Absolutely. Remember, who wants to join the magistracy if you can earn what a magistrate earns in a month, you can earn it in a day? Senior counsel, attorneys, they leave their practice and they join us, even as acting magistrates. And when they come and act, they get no benefits. If they take leave, their salaries are docked.
Yeah.
So why should they be? And then they're forced to go back into practice in order to resuscitate their practice. It's total abuse on every level.
Look, one thing is for sure, with a judiciary that is now, as we can tell, we can all see, is really under pressure. There's so many cases that we've been following across the show, across the channel, really, in the country. One thing is for sure, that the calls for safety are very necessary, ones that I think we can all see as very necessary for the country in order to get things done. So I really appreciate you bringing this not just to our attention, but really continue to fight for this, Neelan. I really appreciate the time as well in studio.
100%. But very important to understand, the judicial system is fully functional.
Yeah.
As lower court judges, we're keeping the system alive. We're not going to drop it. But we expect communities and society at large to come to our aid and speak for us, because I shouldn't be here.
A perfect way to end it there. Neelan Karikan, appreciate the time. Neelan is the president of the Judicial Officers Association.